Welcome, everyone. This is Pine Leaf Needles, and you're listening to LOTRO Players News, where we take a look at the latest news in LOTRO and here at LOTRO Players. And this week we have with us Andy,
Hey everybody.
Terry Adwin,
Hi,
Maven,
Hey y'all!
Erithert,
I was muted. Hi.
and Carvet.
I'm not muted. That's your service and your families.
And welcome, everyone, to the 9th anniversary of LOTRO.
Yay! Set off fireworks! Yay!
And there'll be lots of fireworks.
It is unbelievable that LOTRO has been going on for 9 years. It does not feel like it's that old of a game. Partly because the free-to-play movement, I think, has really revitalized LOTRO quite a bit. So that kind of shaves 4 years off of its age, I think. But it's amazing that LOTRO's lasted this long. It's crazy that we might be going to Mordor this year. That's just mind-blowing to me. And very awesome. I'm looking forward to see where LOTRO goes in this next year, and it's been awesome the 9 years that we've had so far.
I
All right.
agree.
And anyone have anything to say concerning the anniversary event?
Happy anniversary,
The
everybody.
anniversary event is awesome. It's fun. I like blowing things up. Fireworks.
I
Woo!
gotta tell you, at night when we're doing the fireworks up on the hill, I put my graphics on ultra high, and it's awesome.
It's amazing, yeah.
It
You
is
can get
beautiful.
fantastic screenshots.
Oh
When I
my
signed
goodness.
off the stream I had earlier today, I kind of zoomed out to the point where my character was in first person, and I just was standing on the fireworks field, just watching fireworks go crazy because there probably were 15 to 20 players out there. It was really cool.
Yeah.
It's great.
It's actually really fun when you get to like the methyl stage or whatever, and everyone like you have to race and set off fireworks to impress the crowd. It's
Yeah.
Right.
beautiful. It really is
It
beautiful.
really is.
Yeah, that one's rough because if you don't have like 3 people, you will not succeed.
Yeah.
Right.
You have to have like some serious firework machine gun action to impress the crowd there because they're tough, man.
Yeah.
That's a
It's not
tough
about-
crowd. That's
It's
hot.
not about syncopated rhythm with the guys in the methyl stage. They want you to really pump those fireworks up there.
Well, Gandalf spoiled them is the problem, so they're really picky.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
that's what it
Gandalf's
is.
fault.
Yeah, you have to impress
Blame
with sheer
Gandalf.
volume.
That's probably why he sends you on that crazy quest all over Middle Earth to send off fireworks. He's like, "Psh, amateur, go do some discipleship training.
Really.
No, Padawan, you are still a firework noob. Go do 20 laps around Eriador. I see. I've been watching Kung Fu movies. Your
So
firework is weak.
there are some new rewards that come for players. Obviously, everyone gets a new portrait frame because regardless of how long you've been here, you're going to get a new one because you've been around here a year longer, unless you just recently started playing LOTRO. And so that's pretty awesome. There's now 9-year frames, which they're all right. I feel like after 5, they've kind of just been like, now what do we do?
They're phoning it in.
Yeah.
Well, I've been
I mean,
using
they've
the
gotta
5-year one for the last several years.
The 5-year one looks really good.
The 10 one, though, might look nice.
The 10 one might look nice, depending on how they count, though. It might end up being the 11th one based on how they're doing it, so I don't know. But yeah, hopefully the 10th one will be just absolutely amazing.
Well, it seems like they've got that little gold nub for the 5-year marks, and they've got the silver nubs for the 1-year mark. So the 10th one, I would think, would have 2 gold leaves, which
Maybe.
would be classy. It's
Be
kind of
interesting.
this Caesar look thing going on.
Yeah.
Et tu brute. Anyway, but there's some nice frames out there.
Terry,
I've
did you
kinda-
wind him up again tonight? We told you to only leave him on half wind up, not full wind up.
Not it.
Yeah, and you're not supposed to grease them up with coffee. We've been over this.
You
Not
can't stop
it.
Gar from the coffee. The coffee will live on. You can't stop the coffee.
So also available are White Tree fireworks, which I have not seen, but they sound amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to. Anybody
Well, you get
Where do
those.
you
Where'd
get
you get
these
those?
majestic things?
by having been played before I
having
knew about the
played for
game, so it's
9
totally
years?
not fair.
Yeah, I have a
Oh my
different account
goodness.
from the first account I had, so I actually am not able to able to see this stuff. I wish that I had remembered that so I could be a 9-year player, but
you gotta be like super old. I mean, like been
Like
playing
Pine
for a
Leaf.
long time.
yeah.
Pine Leaf, did you
Yeah,
get White Tree
somebody told
Fireworks?
me.
No, I got the. No, I was
Pine
a
Leaf's
couple of
just
months
under.
late.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
Oh,
just
bummer.
under.
just under.
Somebody was telling me that the blue orb emote looks really cool. I haven't seen a video
I
for
have
it
that.
yet, but
Oh, not the blue orb. I have
You
the
have the
red
red
orb.
one.
Yeah, blue orb is
There's a-
it's from the anniversary.
what's the red orb emote? Is that from
It's an
like one
emote
of
you
the
can buy in
epics
the
later
store.
on?
Yep.
Yeah, where you
Oh.
actually you pull a Palantír out of your pocket.
Nice.
Yeah,
And
it's
gaze
pretty
It's
at
not
it.
like lore breaker or anything. Hello, oh sorry, I've got Mordor call waiting.
It's awesome.
Pardon
I
me.
actually took a picture.
The red one is
picture.
Mordor call waiting. The blue one is like Eriador call waiting. I got it.
Yeah.
Okay, just depends on how
I
much
took
you
a
pay for
picture.
your
I think I
plan.
posted it up on Mythgard and Lotro. I'm not sure if I did or not, but you gaze into it, so I have a picture of Glordrail doing that.
Early Palantir
To be
caller
honest-
ID is just
I
red
know,
or
right?
blue,
Yeah,
depending on
exactly.
the
If it's
faction.
Yeah.
evil, it's red. If it's a good guy, it's blue. Oh,
be
your
honest-
pocket's glowing red. Don't answer that. It's probably
Oh,
got
I bet
something
Gandalf's beard's calling again. All right.
Sorry, I can't talk long, Awen. I've got Sauron online too. You know how he gets cranky.
Gandalf just robe called me.
Yeah, Gandalf beard called me again,
His
accidentally.
staff called me. It must have bounced when he was writing. All right, who let the hobbits play with a Palantir again? Yeah.
Are you finished with this?
Well, interestingly, there's actually quite a few monster player rewards this year.
Are there?
Yeah,
There's
some new
Great
characters.
fireworks!
There's of course the portrait frame. There's Erebert Cracker fireworks, which I have not seen, but they sound pretty cool too. And then there's
Different?
appearances for each of the different classes. So that's pretty
Yeah.
awesome.
I'll have to see. I don't know that I'll get much because I haven't been at work for very long.
Well, it's how long as you've been playing as a
Oh, okay.
character. Like, to be honest,
Oh.
the best thing that's ever happened because of an anniversary festival is the 7-year Warg Dance.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I love that. I would love to have that.
Me too.
I wish there was a way to
the
earn
game
it.
needs to keep going for another 3 years so I can get that.
Yeah, I love that.
So your war leader and your reaver can appear as a Haradrim?
Oh,
Is that right?
Apparently that's what it says. But you know that does
Wow.
fit with the Osgiliath area. So.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that would be very appropriate for Osgiliath.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Warg setting off fireworks. What happened to Fangs over there? Well, you know, he's playing with fireworks again. He had this really cool tiger stripe brindle thing going on. Now he looks more like one of those disjointed, mangy Mordor mutts.
I was thinking one of those naked mole rats, but that works too.
Yeah.
And I like how the Black Arrow appearance is called Skirmisher Shortbow, which sounds like somebody that is not an evil character even remotely. So I really like that name.
Short bow.
There's Skirmisher Shortbow Bob.
It sounds like Skirmisher Shortbow is like a sidekick for like a 1940s World War II kind of a serial novel or something.
At the skirmisher shortbow was another name for flax.
Oh, that's funny.
Pine Leaf dropping some knowledge. Boom.
No, that's Pine Leaf Skirmish Soldier.
Yes.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that's... Terry's reaction was awesome.
You guys make me laugh.
You guys have to see. You have to skirmish enough with Pine Leaf to know the names of his skirmish soldiers. That's the thing.
Yes. You've
Yeah.
got to skirmish with the pine.
And actually pay attention to what people name their skirmish soldiers.
Yeah,
the other part of that.
That's the other thing. All right.
Yeah, I know. Some of us like
Yeah.
have very witty names.
Like when you pay enough attention that a particular Aerithert names his skirmish soldier Tankerbell, and you go and name your
I totally did
Tankerbella.
not even know that was what happened.
Yes.
Carter said it in the chat, and I
Yes.
thought it was a great name.
Yes.
I didn't even realize that you had named your soldier that because I missed that stream.
Ah, okay.
That was interesting. 'cause
Let us.
I said it in chat.
Also, actually, one more thing about the festival stuff is there's some new housing items too. There's a beautiful, like a couple really beautiful paintings, and a cool yard scary thing, and a chandelier, and another like one of those orbs that you have to turn in Moria with the Marivel that are basically the bane of everything decent. You can get one of those in your yard.
One of those, like one of those beacons of evil.
Yeah.
Honey, I don't know why the neighbors are looking at us with those red glowing eyes. What could be that orb of evil you put in the front yard, dear?
Somehow it has a hypnotizing effect. We're not
I don't
sure.
know. It's like ever since I installed that beacon of evil attraction in the front yard, we've just had so many problems in the neighborhood lately. I don't know what happened.
You get a bunch of cross like homeowners association people. They're like, you're not supposed to have a beacon
Okay.
of evil in the yard.
We didn't have a Morgul problem before you installed that thing there, Steve.
Yeah, Steve.
Let us continue.
Thanks for using Steve. I'm sure Becky's happy.
Let's let Pine lead
Let's
the way
proceed
to
with
the
the
next
store
thing.
sales. What's on sale this week?
Well, let's see if I can get the tab back open. Our free sample this week is a random relic pack. Use the coupon code that you can find in the show notes. Also, 50% off expansions and expansion quests, which is awesome.
Yeah, that is amazing.
And 30% off skirmishes and instances, enhanced XP supply, token of the Hornburg, which is an XP booster, and mark acquisition boosts. Yeah. Although token of the Hornburg is pretty sweet if you don't already have something similar.
Yeah.
And
Cool.
there is an anniversary sale going on right now, April 22nd through April 28th. 50% off almost everything in the LOTRO market.
Wow.
The best stuff is the expansions. The expansion.
But you
But
know-
yes, best stuff is the expansions.
You know what was not off in the LOTRO market? The 1-year VIP. So I still had to pay full price when I awarded both winners this week. So it was actually awesome. They were back finally. And so
Finally,
those are done.
yay!
Sweet.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Way to go, winners. Again.
And Lotro Players News is brought to us by New Ride.
It's festival time in Middle Earth, and you know what that means. All your friends are getting the newest rides and fanciest duds. Sometimes it's hard to keep up with the festival heads, but this year we at Harry Dwarf and Sons Motor Gorts have a brand new chopper model just for you. The Black Windfells. Sleek black exterior with green eyelights, molded leather seat, custom tack, and roll cage horns. This is the goat for long rides while feeling the wind in your beard. If you've got the guts, we've got the goats. Harry Dwarf and Sons.
That was great.
He's bad to the bone. Bad, bad, bad.
Let's head to the community news for April 22nd through the 28th. And anybody have any things they particularly wish to highlight for this week's? I'll take that as a no.
There's a ton of events. I highly recommend checking them all out.
Right.
Every
And-
week. Every week, check out the article.
There's so much stuff. It's like, what's going on? Lots?
Yeah, it's hard to
Yes.
even choose between them.
Yes. Now let me see. Now we do have at the Bird and Baby next week on Laurelin at 2:30 p.m. server time. They will have special guests visiting from Landreville, the Ninny Hammers.
Nice.
So if you are around at 2:30 p.m. server time, that may be a place you can go to. Probably most of the people that will be are the ones who normally visit Laurelin. So then let's head into the Artaman 2016, challenging Middle-earth's greatest athletes.
This
What
is
the-
so cool. It's an Iron Man competition, but it's called the Artaman because it's in Middle Earth. And it's going to be insane. They're going to be running from Thorin's Hall to Galtrev. And I'm guessing it's a run. It's not a ride. It's a run on foot. There's going to be a swim from Buckland up to the source of Lake Evandim and back down the Brandywine. There's going to be a ride from Galtrev to Dol Amroth, and I'm guessing that's going to be actually on horseback. But this looks like it's going to be a lot of fun.
Didn't we have the idea for this like a year ago?
We were talking about the Eriador Triathlon.
Yeah.
And we were
yeah.
talking about doing like a ride, run, walk thing where we were, I think it was like starting in the Shire and running to Bree and then getting a horse and then riding up through the Fornos fields to Evendim and then
Still, it's
swimming
amazing.
across the
This is
lake.
great.
Yeah. Except we were talking about doing it with like level 6 characters. So this looks like it'll be a lot of fun.
It's really tempting to do it on a chicken.
Yeah.
Okay, so these are being held. So they're being held separately rather than as three contiguous
like-
events like you
yeah,
have
yeah.
with the triathlon.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be like 3 different events, as opposed to a triathlon. Because I can't
And
see
it's-
how you would get from
yeah, it's-
Thorns Hall to Galtrav and then back to the source of the Brandy Wine to swim.
Yeah.
But
It's spread
I-
over
I-
2 days.
Yeah, an Eriador triathlon would be awesome. I think we should still organize that. We'll put a feather in that and come back to it, Arthur.
Sounds good.
I am Arda Man. I am Arda Man. Okay,
Da-na-na, da-na-na, da-na.
something like that. That's cool.
Let's head into our poll for this week where we asked the question: will you buy the Far Honorian Quest Zone?
That's right, Pineleaf. There were 494 votes this week, which is crazy. We've been getting a lot of votes recently on our poll. And the top answer was no, I'm VIP, with 40% of the vote.
That was my answer.
And I'm always surprised, well, not always surprised, but the first time that this happened, I was surprised because it's amazing how much of our audience is VIP that plays LOTRO. It's really mind-blowing that, at least for people who participate in this poll, 40% are VIP. That's just crazy to me. Anyway,
Right. If you like a game, you put money into it. You want it to keep going.
that's right, yeah. It's super awesome.
Yeah.
Next up with 18%, I will in the future. Then I already have with 16%, which means that basically the top 75% is people who have actually bought the, or are planning to buy the Far Honorian Zone. Or, you know, our VIP, who get it anyway. Next up is I might with 9%, followed by no I will not with 8%, no, but I would if there was a quest-only purchase option with 5%, 27 votes, and other with 3%, 15 votes. And a lot of the others seem to be people who are VIP but wanted to specify that they are not actually going to play through the new area.
Ah,
See, I wanted a different option entirely. I was wishing if there was an instance-only option, like buy the instances but not the quests, I would totally do that.
And there were other people who said that. I forgot about that. Thanks for reminding me, Arthur.
Yeah. Because, I mean, I'm down for like the instances and stuff with my kinnies and doing that, but other than that, I'm in it for the epic story and for the landscape, and neither of those really need to buy the zone for, so yep.
and on LOTRO Academy, we had some bonus content to episode 123. And that was some random stuff that was taken from one of our field trips.
I love Brannick's summary of this particular bonus content snippet. No really format to this bit of discussion, but Pine Leaf was certainly on point. As a warden, he's always on point. That's awesome.
That is
Was that the
awesome.
point of a spear or the point of a javelin?
Oh, both of them.
Probably.
There's a fine difference between a spear and a javelin, right?
That's right. When it's a spear, it's much more personal discussion, where if it's a javelin, you're just kind of tossing ideas out there.
Let's head into Tales of the Free Folk, episode 15. Bird-brained.
Yeah, that's accurate this week. This week we tried to put together parts of the pieces of the larger plot and also just recover from our amazing trip that we had the last like 3 or 4 episodes. And so this week was just kind of catching our breath and putting things together And there were quite a few little story details, if you paid attention, that are pretty interesting. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens in the coming weeks as we get closer towards the possible end of this main plotline. So should be very interesting.
And Lily Kay posted an article describing the current status of the plans for the Blue Theater Song Contest that is going to be held later on this year
Cool.
on June 3rd. Right? Oh, wait a minute. Okay, actually, June 4th, yes. June 4th at the Blue Theater in Minas Tirith. So if you want to attend, you'll either have to get leveled up or spend a mental coin in order to get there.
But you got plenty of warning.
There's
Actually, I went there for the first time today, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is awesome!"
Right? It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Cool.
It's absolutely amazing.
I
You
like
could
how.
do. I mean,
Go
you could
ahead.
do full-on dramatic presentations there with people coming in from different sides
Oh, yeah.
and stuff if you wanted to.
Yeah,
It's
I
really
like
stunning.
how it's not just an epic theater. It is a proper explorable representation of how a very cultured industrial slash um, what's the word cultural, basically the cultural center that Minas Tirith is,
Yeah.
has this theater that is fully functional in all of the dramatic aspects. There's wings, there's balconies, there's super plush seats overlooking the stage for the rich royals, there's backstage, there's places you can enter and exit the stage from that are not within visible view of the audience. I mean, it's really cool.
Oh yeah.
And I was excited because I came there today. It's Shakespeare's 400th birthday, and I was like, "What?" It was cool. It was basically the globe in Middle Earth, but different.
It's like the same, but not.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Oh, that would be good if they had like a concessions guy there. Where you could buy like small beer, you know.
And like pies and pastries and stuff. That'd be awesome.
And like Rotten Tomatoes, you know.
Wait, isn't that Winterfest? Frostbluff is the corner of Rotten Fruit.
Oh, there is a bar.
Yep,
Wait,
Lily Kate
it's-
says there is a free open bar.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Is that like during RP performances or like actually in Minas Tirith there's a bar there? That'd be cool. I don't know, you have to
I'm
check it
pretty
out.
sure there's an actual bar there. So
Oh,
That's awesome.
swanky.
And Lily Kate also posted episode 50 of Small Lotro Adventures, where they continued journeying with our friend Bingo.
And reaching a 50 episode point is actually really a big deal for this particular series because it's been going for like almost 2 years now, I want to say. So it's a huge milestone to reach episode 50.
That's really cool.
And speaking of milestones, the family line is at, well, okay, it's at 88, so it's a couple of nice. Well, if you turned it around to be infinite.
Or 88 again.
Right. Or depends on how much you turn it around. The Man in Black, the Witch King.
Dread Pirate Roberts.
Oh, the Dread Pirate Roberts. Yes.
It's the name that's important.
I don't know. I thought it
Oh.
was making a Dark Tower reference.
Speaking of these these serial stories that we have on Lotra Players News, it would appear like I've got inside news on the Line of Bjorn. If I remember correctly, the final chapter is getting ready to come out soon. So if you're not caught up with the Line of Bjorn as well, that's one to get caught up on. It's a lot shorter than this. That one's, I think, 15 chapters so far. And the 16th and final chapter is supposed to be coming out comparatively soon.
Cool.
Yeah.
And Critter's Journey has reached part 20, and This week's episode includes a recap of episodes 1 through 19 on a YouTube video.
Yep. Totally made my morning.
Okay.
Well,
Nice.
afternoon, because it was afternoon before I got around to looking at stuff for show notes. But yeah, it totally made my day today. So in case you forgot what happened during the first 19 episodes, or just didn't want to read the first 19 episodes, you can just watch the YouTube video, which is about 7 minutes.
Cool. It's a really well done motion comic kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm down.
All right, then let's head into our new player question. And this week, what's our question, Maven?
Am I on? Is this thing on? Okay.
Yeah,
All right. Okay.
that's
So
your new player question?
Pine Leaf, you're so funny. You're funny. I found a wooden chest on a quest in one of the orc camps, and it wouldn't open for me. This happened more than once. What is up with that?
Well, there are several possibilities for there. First of all, what error message did it give you?
I don't remember. It said you cannot
Ah.
access this now, I
You
think.
don't have permission to use this item.
You don't have permission to use this item. That's it.
Oh.
Sometimes that is tied to a specific quest, and if you don't have the quest, you can't open the thing. Other times, it could be one of those spiffy, fancy hidden chests that you have to be 90 plus to open.
Or
it
in
could
this
be a
particular
scholar note.
case, it could have been that somebody else opened the chest and just didn't empty it.
Right answer.
Or it could be a crafting chest that you can't use because you're not a scholar.
That's another reason. Yeah.
Okay, so you mean that if you open up a chest and don't take everything, it
It stays on the landscape and nobody else can loot it either.
Until a certain amount of time
that's
when it resets.
stupid.
Yep.
Right?
It's
Yeah.
those things like that should reset.
That's
They
been the case
do.
for a long time, finally. Yep.
They do.
Does
but
it-
they
does it
take
reset after a
forever
while?
to reset.
Well, I know that if you don't loot all of the stuff out of the ore node, like if you leave that one piece of rock salt that you just don't care to grab because you're not a jeweler, the next person who comes along can still mine it, but all they get is that piece of rock salt. And it's kind of like, really?
Yep.
I mean, it could reset at the server reset every day, just 3 a.m. server time.
Maybe. I don't know what the cooldown on that is, but that seems like a really trolly thing to do, to run around
Yeah, well,
grabbing
here's the
all but one
interesting
item.
thing. If you
and
actually
all the
do,
different
or the
things.
silver coins, because in the wood chest you always get the silver coins. So you mine the
Yeah.
silver coins out of it, and then you don't take anything else. Here's the interesting thing. If you take everything out, it will reset for the next player. Yay! And
Yep.
guess what? If your bags are full, don't take anything out of the chest. Period. Easy, right? I mean, I put this in just
Well,
because I
most
think
people
it's
wouldn't know
bad
that their
etiquette.
bags are. Most people won't know that their bags are full until they get the error message.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, on the first chest, but
But if you've
There are
got
some
3
places-
right next to each other, and all 3 of them are giving you the same error message, it's really, really, really annoying.
Ah, so that sounds like somebody who's just taking slim pickings.
Oh
And
yeah, yeah.
fix
If you're
the stuff
questing
that they
with
want.
Terry Admin and somebody loots a chest but doesn't make it disappear off of her radar, ooh, she gets twitchy.
Hypothetically, of course.
No. This is legit. This is
No,
legit
that's-
practice. This happens.
That's
This is
because
not
I run a
hypothetical.
burglar on Tuesdays and I have my track treasure turned on, so I know where all those chests are. And yeah, if those things don't disappear, I get pretty twitchy.
She's like, hey, somebody didn't loot the chest. Who didn't loot the chest? Somebody's got to loot the chest. Who
I had
didn't do
no
it? Who
idea
didn't do it?
tracking treasure was even a thing. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Yep,
Burks get it.
it's like tracking quest nodes, or not quest nodes, but like crafting nodes.
Yeah,
The
my
burglars can-
burglar, I went to check all my character names the other day out of curiosity, and on the kin page, because I was sending them to my sister who started playing, and it's been like 216 days since I played my burglar. So yeah.
So
It's been a while.
here's the deal. Back to the new player question, guys. Sorry. Here's the point, because this is actually something that would be happening more at high levels now because of the new areas, with a lot of people running through. Take all the stuff out of the chest. Just take the stuff out of the chest. Period. Just don't pick and choose. It just So because there's so many people running around, and the thing's not going to reset for ages. Where if you take everything out of the chest, it's going to reset pretty quickly for somebody else to use it. I mean, that's just this is true everywhere in Middle Earth, but in these areas that are super dense at the moment, that's just good etiquette. Come on, people.
Oh,
Yeah,
Anyway.
the
you were
same thing
looking
applies
for
to Ornos
etiquette?
too, honestly.
I know. I know. I'm living in a fantasy world, Pine Leaf, when I'm in Middle Earth. I know. I
Let
know.
us head into our week in Lotro, where we go over our highlights for the past week. And Aerithert, what were you up to? And what?
Sweet. I like literally at this moment, I'm going through several hundred relics and combining them on my minstrel, but that's not important.
He may or
Um,
may not be in game at the moment.
Yeah, I'm just mindlessly clicking. Too many requests. Slow down, please. Ugh, clicking, that. Um, but so Monday, I did my first role play ever thing that I've ever done.
And no, he doesn't use that accent when he does it, I promise.
No, I don't. Although I could. I probably should. That'd be hilarious. Anyways,
Thanks, Maven.
Hey, that'd be fun.
so yeah, I did. It was basically a role play stream. I figured out how to adjust my UI so there's like nothing on it, so I don't really see my skills. I don't have my morale anywhere except just a tiny number on the side, and like other people's vitals are off. The radar is gone. The quest tracker's gone. Um, it's challenging just to play because it's a guardian, so I don't really need to look at the skills because I have them kind of memorized, the keybinds and stuff. But it's still challenging to not quite be certain of how the fight's going or anything like that. Apart from that, the role playing is kind of difficult. I had my camera turned off, so it was like just the character talking, and it was uncomfortable because I've never done it before, but it was a lot of fun. And I gave Carv a well-deserved death stare, and he can tell you more about it. Um, yeah, yeah, road. Anyways, so and then I skipped my Wednesday stream because I had like a weird stomach bug thing, so I haven't done Bingo Boffin yet, so I have no idea what happens with that. But so today I had like a long overdue mod day stream, and it's something that I'd stolen the idea from another streamer where he does a stream every now and again, and like donations and stuff goes to the mod team. And I was like, the mods are amazing in the Aerith Army chat, so we did a mod day stream and did that today. And during that, somebody like we ended up getting like 50 people at one point, which is pretty great. But one of them told me how to make the Balewood less horrific. And I was amazed. So you know how when you're going through the Balewood in Wildemore, rest of Wildemore is pretty great, but the Balewood is basically hell on Middle Earth.
Disagree.
And because there's just like stuff everywhere you can't see, and
It's
it
great.
makes it worse that I'm a hobbit on that character. So it's like fern, plant, log, plant, fern, grass, fern, troll, tree, fern.
Ooh,
It's
that
horrible.
tree fights.
I know, it's the worst thing ever. And he was like, "Oh, just go in and turn for the frill distance, set that to disabled."
Yep.
And I did, and round up the entire Balewood. It was like squirt, died, everything. It was great, and I could like see, and it was amazing. So if you're having trouble in the Balewood or anywhere else where it's annoying and there's a bunch of plants and things, you could just go into your frill distance and set that to disabled, and it gets rid of all the rubbish.
Also great for PvP.
Yes. Well, PvP, I just turn everything down to as minimal as possible because I'm used to it and I get lost otherwise.
I can imagine.
Ah.
It's a terrible idea. That's a terrible place for mounted combat, by the way.
That's an
In Balewood?
understatement.
Well,
Yes.
No, I love the Balewood. Balewood's the best. Balewood's
No,
the
we,
best.
we, we should have mounted combat near where the Wozes are.
Oh,
Oh, now I agree with you.
That's the worst place.
I agree with you there. I agree with you there. That's
We're
horrible.
walking, route, and so I was, trip route, and I said, hey, so we were gonna go meet the wah. What the heck?
And the whole time they're just laughing.
Spikes.
Yeah.
And the whole time they're laughing, yeah.
So yeah,
So-
that was my week. Carve, what did you do?
Well, I totally earned that death stare because I had complete fun stalking Era and Bree towards the tail end of his RP cast, and then I stole his sleeping spot. Um, so Aerother's doing his like closing remarks, and he's talking about how he's tired, and the beauty thing is I'm watching the stream, which is like 30 seconds delayed from what's going on in game. So I decide to make my character stretch like I'm tired right as I hear Era on the stream talk about how tired he is. No, wait, let's try this again. I'm doing stuff with my character, and then I look over at the string 30 seconds later to see how he reacts to it. So when I decide to stretch and then lay down on the carpet is right when Aerthert says, "Man, I'm getting tired." My character stretches. I think, is he going to steal my rug? He's going to steal my rug. And then I lay down on it, and he just stares at the camera like, "Argh." And it was great because I look over at Mrs. Carve, and I'm like, I couldn't have timed that better. And we were rolling. It was like beautiful. I'm like, completely coincidental, but so epic.
It was pretty great, but
Yeah. It was like,
It was pretty great, but don't do it again.
Yeah.
exactly.
It'll have to be something else. All right.
I have to do something else.
No, it was. I was like, if he lays down on my, he did it. He
He
did
lays
it.
down on Mike. And what I didn't know was earlier in that scene, he walks in and he's checking the room out, and he goes, I could probably just cruise out and crash on that carpet. That's going to be so comfy. And then he does a little talking, and then I kind of poke my head in the door frame, and I wave at him, and he's like, "Who's that weird guy?" Whatever. And then I come on up and act like I'm warming myself by the fire, and then I just flop down in the middle of his carpet. It was great.
I should actually highlight that. But
That
it's
is
yeah.
good.
I should see if I can try and highlight that spot.
Yeah, that would be great. And then, so in addition to that, more RP fun. I pursued and obtained the most epic chopper mount in Middle Earth. Carvalant Beer Mixer is now a bad boy. On his pride, enjoy the Black Goat Rider. As many people have seen the tweets I sent out with the highlight videos of me having fun with my new Hairy Goat and Sons Black Windfells. Then on top of that, this morning I discovered, much to my glee, that Moria is 50% off for the entire expansion pack. And as of this morning, I had about, I don't know, 820 or so TP on my free-to-play account. So I was like, we're going to do a massive push to earn the 427 TP I need in order to buy the Moria expansion pack. After 7 hours, and several delays, I'm only 52 turbine points away now.
Nice.
With a new character, and I got to give big props to Coltsfell Warden for power leveling and for getting on to TeamSpeak with me and having a great conversation while we were blitzing all the Slayer deeds in the Shire and Ered Luin and questing and just running around chatting and having a good time doing it. So this is the time to buy stuff if you're a free-to-play player, to grab that stuff because it's cheap, and if you need to burn a couple waster characters, this is a good time to do it. So sometime between today and probably Monday, I'm going to have those 52 turbine points, and I'm going to finish up getting more.
Awesome.
Which is great because I went ahead and decided that I'm going to get the entire expansion, which is going to give me 2 more character slots, and it's going to give me all of Moria, and it's going to give me the ability to keep the hunter I rolled this morning, whose name is Honey Bear. He's going to be running around. Yeah, I've decided he's going to run around in the teddy bear helmet you get at level 15, and I'm going to dye most of his equipment gold. It's going to be obnoxious. And so it's going to be great. There's a lot of really great stuff you get along with the expansion pack that totally makes up for the fact that it's kind of pricey.
So does that mean you're going to get the Runekeeper? Going to play a Runekeeper or Warden?
I'm really kind of thinking maybe one of the other characters I'll level to keep is going to be a Warden, but we'll see how it goes.
That costs, doesn't it? Don't you have to pay extra for?
But it comes with the Moria.
Comes with the full Moria.
Oh, got it.
expansion.
Okay.
That's one of the
cool.
reasons why I decided to get the expansion versus the quest pack, because you get the 2 extra slots. You get the classes, you get all the quests, you get the skirmish buffs. There's a lot of great stuff you get with that more than makes up for the TP price differential between the quest pack and the expansion pack.
Especially on sale.
I'm still
Carve
laughing.
Turbine's check to you will be in the mail on Monday.
What was
I'm
that?
still laughing at Honey Bear.
Yeah, that actually spawned from an original burner character I was going to get rid of, and all of the gear that dropped for that guy was yellow or gold. And so by the time I got to level 15 and I put on that hunter's little teddy bear helmet, plus all of that gear, I was like, you know what? I just have to make this a thing. This character will return. So there's going to be my Hobbit Hunter on my free-to-play account. So Maven, how was your week?
Oh, well, let me tell you. So Dresden, my lore master, who did not succeed at rescuing Goladir when I ran him on Mythgard Adventures with Corey and Pineleaf, joined Carving Company, who were kind enough to say, yes, let's go to Rift of Nurskashu. Let's go ahead and let's go save Goladir as a six-man fellowship, which if you know about it as a six-man fellowship, it's not easy to do.
So
Because Goladir does not heal, he's very low morale, and he goes nuts, and you can't hit him because if you hit him, he's going to die. So we succeeded after 3 tries.
Third time's a charm.
Yeah.
Third time's a charm. It's like, oh, Goladir's dead again. And finally, it was like after 2 tries, so should we try it one time? Yeah, let's try it one time. And so then we were so excited at having succeeded at our 3rd attempt. We celebrated by doing survival barrow downs. Of course.
Yes.
Why
I
wouldn't
totally
you,
forgot
right?
about that part.
Why wouldn't you do that? And I
hard.
I
Let's do
exceeded
something
my
harder.
personal best. We lasted 16 and a half minutes. Awesome. Are you
pretty
impressed,
fun.
Pine Leaf? That's pretty
No.
impressive, huh?
What I'm impressed is that you got away with calling your lore master Dresden.
Oh yeah, and his Lynx is named Mister, and his glowy thing is called Bob, and his skirmish soldier is named Hell's Bells. So that was cool. Now, and then in other news, I scored the Windfell's Gold and the Master Blaster title for my Hobbit Burglar. Appropriate, right? And I got to tell you, the Windfell's Goat for a Hobbit is the cutest little thing in the world. I ran across an elf or man, I don't know which he was, on a regular-sized goat, and it is so cute. He's like a little toy goat, the cutest thing. He's so cute.
The dwarf goat.
And then I ran some of the Beacon Hills quests on Glordville. So I shoot some horses and I wash some banners and, the things that a hero in Middle Earth is, called upon to do. So I didn't get too far because my questing partner hasn't had time to do it, but I kind of dipped a toe into the Beacon Hills. So Andang, how about you?
Yes, well, I actually went through Pelennor a bit more, update 18, and I'm still enjoying it, not quite as much as the initial finding of things that I found. And I am starting to see the troubles with the Woses camp. I can see now. It's to the point where I'm kind of just following the epic and trying to get away from
Yeah.
the Woses place. We'll see how that goes. I think I'm starting to move forward on the epic. Plus, I just want to see how that all turns out. So.
Well, of course.
And also this week, I've been leveling Bingo, and actually got 3 levels in less than 3 hours. So that was awesome. And I leveled by the end of the stream, actually leveled before Pineleaf did. He did catch up to where we're still the same level, but I leveled first, so that was awesome. And this week also, all Friday afternoon and evening to probably about midnight, Friday night, I spent fixing various things on the Players Alliance. For starters, our podcast plugin broke and is no longer supported. Like, you can't even download it from the plugin thing through WordPress anymore. And so that caused in iTunes our podcast and all the Players Alliance podcasts, except for XP Quest because it was already on the new plugin, to have no title.
Oh no.
And so for the last couple weeks, our podcast has actually been listed as no title instead of LOTRO Players News, which has
Oh no.
obviously hurt our search results and things like that. So we'd actually lost a bit of traffic from it. The good news is that we updated to a new plugin that was actually available and was actually the same plugin that LOTRO Academy used before we started LOTRO Players. The problem was that because Middle Earth Network was all on the same domain way back forever ago, and so all the sites were on the same domain. They couldn't actually have multiple podcast plugins because they would conflict with each other. So we went to this old, outdated plugin and had been using it for the last 2 years, and of course it ended up being completely outdated, so that caused us to have to upgrade to the new plugin. The good news is that upgrading this way is way easier than what Brannick had to do when we started LOTRO Players downgrading the other way, because this plugin is actually designed to take in the plugin we were using and upgrade, so it wasn't too involved. It was a little bit of a challenge to figure out how to fix the no title issue even on the new plugin though, but we got it to work, and so now everything's all updated and it's nice and good. Also this week, I found that there was actually just yesterday, so also on Friday, it was a long day, I found that there was actually still code that was linking back on the home page. There was stuff that was linking back to an old Middle Earth Network domain to get a background for something that no longer existed. And so it was causing things to actually take forever to load. And so that was obviously a huge, huge issue and it was actually kind of weird that it took so long for everything not to load. But this week it started making the homepage take like probably close to 30 seconds to actually load, which is obviously not a good thing. So anyway, that actually took a long time to find the core code issue, and I had to search through all this code, which there's tons and tons of lines of code to find this, and eventually found the cause and fixed that across all the different Players Alliance sites too. So it was just kind of interesting that there were two Middle Earth Network issues randomly on the same day, like a year after we left. So it's just interesting how that all kind of coincided together. But fixed that, and so the network should be a lot better now, and hopefully won't have to fix anything anytime soon, I hope. So anyway, hopefully Terry Edwin's back. Maybe? Yes, no?
Well, if she's
All
not,
right.
we can make comments about how you skirmished against the code
Yes.
instance. You were dealing with
I was
both
very much
lieutenants
so.
and mislinked minions.
Yeah, it was quite a lot of work, but luckily got it all to work out. And honestly, I don't even know how the homepage was loading with the way that this thing was coded, but fixed it, and so it's loading fine now. So anyway, Pineleaf, while we're waiting for Terry, what'd you do this week?
We'll begin with my lore master who joined with Corey Olson this week for his weekly Friday stream, where I demonstrated that even a blind squirrel can occasionally find a nut.
That
What are
is
you
so.
referring to? Is you're calling Grifflet a nut, or is that what you're
No,
talking
I'm calling being able to find those 3 pieces of equipment that Goladir sent us to
I
find.
I know.
right?
Plus you had the challenge of Corey Grifflet the burglar continually trying to be a tank, which doesn't work for a
Well,
burglar.
there is
So-
that, and that plus a certain daughter of a certain ranger.
Oh yeah, I was on the chat going, "Don't do it! Don't do it! Don't save Deirdre! Don't save Deirdre!" But no, but you did a good job, because since he died, then you guys you cleaned everybody up before he got back, so that was good.
Yes, and then in my weekly small fellowship group where we normally do skirmishes, we decided after our first 2 skirmishes, we decided that since one of our members was doing Osgiliath at the time, let's go in and do the ruined city. And I was reminded why I hate that instance.
Yeah.
I like that instance.
Well, we got to the boss. First of all, getting to the boss fight is tough enough because you got that super troll you got to go through. But once we got past that troll, we get to the boss, and after a couple of minutes, he says, "All right, I want you all dead." So boom.
Ah!
Yeah, right. Okay. Goodbye. Good night. And then this week on the Ninny Hammers, we had the challenge that because of the anniversary event, going all over the place, that the concert was on a different layer than the audience.
Oh man.
No, oh no.
So we wound up we had somebody stationed who went in, was given raid assistant here, and what he would be doing would be inviting people who are in one of the other layers that wanted to see the concert, and would have them ported
Oh
over
boy.
into our layer.
Oh
That's
my
amazing.
gosh.
I just
Now
have
that is
this
concert
image
dedication right there.
of like a bouncer that's literally in the concert area, and he's like, "All right, you can go through." No, you can't. You can't. You're gonna stay in your other layer, buddy.
I'm sitting here. I'm picturing like a star-studded event where the velvet rope crosses the threshold, but on the other side of the threshold, there's an empty theater because they're in a different dimension. So it's like they undo the velvet rope, and the person washes across the threshold, and then they disappear, and there's like a line of people waiting to go to this concert in a different place. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
you thought you got your foot in the door, but really you just got to another
Yeah,
waiting room
yeah, you
until
just got to another
the second
place.
bouncer lets you in.
Layer Wrangler. That is awesome.
Then let's head on to what Terry Adwin did.
Yes, now that my internet's fixed itself. So I finished the Epic, the new books of the Epic on Lange Terry, so I can join everybody else who last week said, "Oh my God!"
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
she's up to level 102 and received a shiny new level 105 pocket in the mail, which is my impetus for actually getting to the new cap. And then Glad and Terry went back to Moria to work through Volume 2, or at least enough of it to unlock the skirmishes, because we got done recording Academy last night, and the kin over on Gladden was still doing some skirmishing, except they were doing Moria skirms, which I couldn't get into because I don't actually have them unlocked yet. So, yeah. And then the biggest news this week, Sarissa the Burglar is no longer capped at 65. Took the stone off. So during our run on Tuesday, I think it was the third time through that skirmish, she hit 66,
That's
which
right.
is super exciting because now I can riddle people and not break stealth. And I have been dying to get that skill for probably as long as I've had the Tortoise Stone in my pocket that couldn't let me get to 66. She's also working through the anniversary quests and achieved both Master Blaster and the new goat.
Ooh, so Roy Boy the burglar and Sarissa the burglar could go out together with Master Blaster titles and goats. Awesome.
Yeah, of course, she's not using the Master Blaster title because she's still proudly parading around her Temple Raider.
So I figure Master Blaster works for a burglar, right? 'Cause-
It does. It does. It goes
Saboteur.
right. It's right up there with the Great Saboteur, which I
Yeah.
also have on Sarissa. And that was my week.
Then let's head into news beyond Lotro. Middle Earth video highlights. The world was young.
Yes,
just like
finally.
so-
And the mountains were green, and it was all great. This is actually a really nice song that was basically adapted Tolkien's poem and brought it to life. And it's really, really awesome. Recommend everybody checks it out. This is one of my favorite YouTube people that does music and Tolkien songs, and they did a great job here as well. So recommend checking out this video.
I would just like to celebrate the fact that somebody other than Pineleaf went last. I don't think that's ever happened.
I know.
Yeah, the
Well,
podcast's
Pineleaf
already
likes
on
to go
fire,
last.
I'm sure, and just internally
I was afraid he was
combusting.
going to decline. I thought he was going to say, "Nope, I'm not doing it. I'm
I'm
waiting for
just
Terry to
gonna
get
wait
back."
for Terry.
Yeah, now that I fixed the podcast feed, it's all gonna go crazy because Pineleaf went not last this week.
Oh
so
yeah, that's
thanks
right.
everybody.
Oh my gosh.
Let's
Well-
head into our moot for the week. And the question is, what are the pros and cons of depictions of Adoras? So let us begin with the books. Anyone have any pros that they would like to give about the depiction of Adoras in the books?
I'm trying to remember Edders in the books.
I am
Yeah,
too.
no, that's the problem.
Yeah, there's not
Um,
really a lot of. I don't think there's a lot of description. I mean, the description is,
They
as the
describe the
party,
hall, the Golden
yeah, as
Hall.
they go up
yes.
to Meduseld, in a very Beowulfian way. But it's
Ah,
mainly what
true,
goes on
actually.
inside.
Well, at least we don't have a giant coming there every night.
That's true.
Yeah.
They
Or
don't.
whatever the heck else it
Yeah,
was.
but he does have the challenge and the whole bit. And, I wrote a paper on that, so
Oh, okay.
I compared the two scenes of the entrance of Beowulf and his people and Gandalf and Aragorn. Anyway, for another time. But anyhow, but yeah. So as I recall, I mean, he doesn't really describe the town. It's sort of like like Tolkien knows that it's Anglo-Saxon. Enough said, right? He doesn't have to describe it.
Yeah.
Before the rest of us capitalized appropriately. Yeah.
All right. So what?
Yeah.
So the con then will be that he doesn't describe it very much.
Not really. Am I recalling right? Does anybody remember? I don't think he really describes the
I
town.
really don't
He
remind.
describes
I
Meduseld,
almost got
but-
the impression that you had this big hall in the middle of nothing.
Right. Right.
Which is probably fairly accurate, to be honest.
Oh yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm thinking that probably Turbine did some research and probably did something relatively accurate. I don't know.
They did something
Yeah.
accurate, probably to a Anglo-Saxon city or something like that, perhaps.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm thinking, and I guess I'm
Yeah,
cheating
but
now.
that's going to the game. So let's
Right.
see what we have here. So let's head to the films. What about the depiction of Adoras in the? Do we actually?
Don't really see much of Edoras in the films either.
Yeah, it sounds like the hall's in the middle of nowhere. I think.
Well, yeah,
Well,
kind
no,
of
in the
is.
films, you do get the impression that this hall is in fact the center point of this mountain village.
It is a
there
village,
is-
right? Though
there
there
is-
is a
yeah.
village there.
No, there's a whole town there. I mean, there's
But it just
I don't
winds
know,
up
30, 40
around the-
structures that kind of go up the hill from the Palisades to where Meduseld is, and so you definitely get this. I'm not going to call it a bustling metropolis by any sense of the word, but it is definitely a thriving town in the middle of what looks like a windswept plain, but it's
I
there
know.
at least.
I know.
Yeah.
From what I picture in my head of Edoras, though, I feel like that the movie version is fairly accurate to what I see. So, for example, there's not, a giant horse fountain in the films, which I think is maybe more accurate than the games are. Just saying.
And no milestones either.
Yeah.
Well, you definitely get this like, well, I don't know. I don't necessarily would say the people of Rohan were originally nomadic. Maybe they are, but the roots they have settled down in what you see of Edoras in the films seems more like you would see them building with timbers and building with smaller stones as opposed to the great stoneworks of the people of Gondor, for example.
Well, and the films at least, and this can be a pro or a con, try to do a good job of presenting kind of how Saruman describes them as just these peasant folk. And you get the idea throughout the entire film, even in Edoras, that the hall's great, and the king is right, as for that time they imagine rightfully held up to a certain standard, but the rest of the town is fairly normal and fairly low class peasant type stuff.
Now, see, I actually picture Edoras more, horse statue notwithstanding, more like in the game, more on a flatter kind of, with Meduseld is up high, but
Right.
also the size of the town, for being the king's seat, the size of the town in the game seems to me more right than the size in the movie.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
Now, if
No.
it were a vacation type resort for the
Right,
king or
like
something
his
like this,
summer home.
but I get the impression that that Meduseld is the main mead hall,
Right, right.
especially the Golden Hall and all that stuff. As you're
Mhm.
saying, Beowulf, and yeah, it's going to be in the greatest city in
Right.
Rohan. Not that they have
Right.
particularly great cities in Rohan,
So-
but that's the main thing.
Right.
Just from an economic standpoint, you're going to have, merchants attracted to the town because there's the king's household there. You know, there's like money to be made, and you know, farmers, and I mean, so there is going to be, I would think, naturally a fairly robust population, more than I think what we see in the movie. Or maybe I'm just being too logical.
No, no, you're right. You're right, Maven. The movie has a really involved set. Like, if you do the backstory, they tried to capture the essence of the town, but in order to build a town that would be of proper
Yeah,
size for
that's true.
Edoras,
Yeah.
there's no way, because the set is actually, I have the extended set and I watched all the extras because I'm a true nerd. The set is actually
the
built in
director's
the
cut.
middle of a New Zealand
Yeah.
national park.
Yep.
That's
Like
right.
way out in the middle of nowhere, where they scouted the
Yeah.
location and they had to get super mega amazing environmental permits to build the set, and they had to build it big enough to shoot in, but all of those buildings they built out there, they had to
take it back down
dismantle,
again.
and then they had
Yeah,
to
yeah.
resod the area to make it restore to its natural place as if they had never even been there. So all
Yep.
those buildings you see were actually where the cast and crew lived while they were shooting on that part of the set, and then when they were done, they packed it all up and left.
Yep.
So, as awesome as it would be to see an Edoras the size of what we get in game, budgetary wise, it's just what happened. So I was like, yeah, okay, I can understand that.
Yeah, there are limitations of what you can do.
And, well, I mean, there are also artist depictions that look much more like the films before the films were even thought of being made. So it's not like that it was solely budget restrictions. There were also, you know, examples of that, but they didn't take it to the same Peter Jackson scale as they did other things. So
So then let's head into the game, since we touched on that on a couple of times, where we have this fairly sizable city.
Hmm. Which, you know, makes sense. I mean, you've got the merchants, but you've also got the farmers that are supporting, you know, with the food. I mean, it's,
Yeah.
you know, it's got all the elements that logically you would have, I think.
I feel like Edoras might be a little bit too spread out in the games. There might not be enough structures.
Hmm.
I would disagree on that. And the reason why is because Edoras is built for a culture that lives and dies on the war steed. Regardless of what you say about the mechanics of, hey, they made the city bigger so that when you're riding your horse around, you don't smash into every third wall.
Well, I do anyway.
Yeah, you do anyway. The entire culture of Edoras and the Rohirrim in general is about mounted everything. So naturally, when they're going to fortify their city, they're going to have a place where they can bring their horses within the walls, and there's plenty of pasture land within the city, which is why it's so spread out. At least I've always thought of it that way.
That's true. I feel like that in the actual city they would have, you know, a more clustered area, and then also grazing fields in part of the city and stuff like that, to where it's not, to where the whole city isn't as spread out as it is in game. I just always felt like, especially like the main market area is really spread out.
Well, it sort of makes sense though, because
It does.
I mean, you've got people that are going to live near the market area, obviously, because there's people that have to go maintain the shops and taverns and whatnot. And then there's also going to be residences over by the farms, because you don't want to live too far away from your farm in case something happens to your crops. So it makes sense to have multiple residential areas. And if you actually take the time to slow down and explore Edoras, you see that there's like various clusters of housing type buildings in fairly logical spots.
Mm-hmm.
There are. For whatever reason, I just feel like it's not quite natural enough, I suppose.
You're talking about a city and you're talking about natural?
It's not how I imagine a natural city progression to
Well,
take place, but that's just me.
I mean, there are some cities that have loads of open areas.
There are.
So I think
And it
it is something that will work, and especially as others have said before, and one that is very heavily on a horse culture.
And it could be something that is, I mean, it's like Philadelphia. It was planned out. Like, we're going to make a city. It's going to be like this. We're going to put this here, that there, that there. And enough room to ride our horse steeds without smacking into walls. You know, it could be intentionally done that way, you know? So,
You know, actually, when I think about that, the movie version, actually, if you think of it being a horse culture, that's a little challenging.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Actually,
You know?
it's very cramped compared to what you would
Yeah.
expect. But then
Yeah.
again,
now
And
it's
stables and stuff.
yeah,
And actually, even though it's got the wall around it fortifying it, it makes sense to not have like all of the residential buildings in one spot, because if an enemy lobs a torch over the wall and something catches, it's not going to catch everything on fire.
well, there
'Cause
is
they
that.
don't have a
Sure.
lot of stonework. It's built out of wood.
yeah. Well, I mean, that was one of the reasons they specifically abandoned Edoras for Helm's Deep, is because Edoras, even though it is an impressive
It's hard
structure,
to
depending on
defend.
it's open. It's in the middle of an openness. There's not a whole lot you can do with it. It can be easily surrounded.
And the wall is really not very defensible either,
Yeah.
especially when you consider the odds they faced.
Actually,
Yeah.
now
Well,
that I
realistically-
remember, is that before World War II, Washington D.C. was actually probably more farmed than urban.
Yeah, that's right.
It was.
That's
Yep.
true.
I don't
Yeah.
believe it.
And to be honest, I don't think the Rohan really would have been fighting a defensive siege. They would have been, all right, we're going to charge out. And if we got to
Yeah,
fight a
they
defensive
don't have
siege,
a
we're going to
siege
do it in Helm's
mentality.
Deep. Like, there was
Yeah.
never an option to defend Edoras, really.
Yeah.
There would have been if he wasn't sick and,
No, like,
worm tongue induced.
it's never really a thing that, all right, we're going to defend Edoras. They leave Edoras because it's not defensible.
Right. What I meant by that is that they would have gone and fought the enemy way before any of this ever happened. But yeah.
Gotcha.
Well, yes, there is that.
Yeah, they would have met him at the borders.
Yeah.
Agreed.
If things were all natural, then Edoras would have never been overrun in the first place. So.
All right, anyone have any cons for the games? Other than ending and feeling it's not
Well, the
natural?
horse fountain.
I did use that as a
Yes,
con,
from
but I do
Gondor.
think that I do think that it's cool to have.
It is
It's really
cool.
cool when you see it the first time, because going into Rohan, seeing that for the first time, that's really one of the most impressive things that we've seen up to that point as far as like
Yeah.
a single thing. We kind of have been spoiled with Gondor and all the splendor that's there, but at the time that was actually a really impressive piece of artwork that they put into the game. So
Well, and coming up into the game, I mean, you and Terry, took me to Edoras for my first visit there, and so of course coming up, I haven't seen anything beyond, so I don't have any conception, about Gondor or Middle-earth or Helm's Deep or anything. And going in, I was just blown away, and that fountain. I mean, blown away by Meduseld first of all, seeing it up on the hill, but then getting to that fountain was like, wow. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm not sure how realistic it is, but
Right.
it's pretty cool.
I don't know. I really like that huge sweeping approach to Meduseld as
Oh,
in terms of
yeah.
royalty. Now, granted, whether or not it fits the description in the books, it's still really cool.
And watching Corey Olsen as a chicken run up all those steps was a treat. Was a treat. He went up looking for Hama.
But Hama wanted him to leave his beak at the
Leave-
door.
He'd leave his beak at the door.
Yeah, no weapons allowed.
And he couldn't
here,
go in
man.
anyway because being a chicken, can't go in. So, But anyway,
Except
no,
for
I
dinner.
think. Yeah, right. Barbecue sauce.
Yes.
7 herbs and spices. I mean, I think generally speaking, it's the movie. I mean, the game version is pretty awesome, even if it's like not necessarily accurate in everything.
We currently have 24 supporters on Patreon, and if you would like to join this illustrious rate of players and help support LOTRO players, simply go to the donations page where you can support the Players Alliance on Patreon. There you will find rewards, including a mention on the podcast of your choice, or even be a guest host here on LOTRO Players News. And this week we have a featured comment from Chris Korick, who left a comment from LOTRO Academy episode 123. Terry?
And I wanted to feature this comment because normally we read listener feedback on the Academy, but this one was posted after we already did that. And it applies to the site as well as just the Academy podcast. So Chris writes, "Hi, just found this great game and site about a week and a half ago. I am having so much fun in game, about to start my max level run after playing a few classes. You got a new listener and fan. Keep up the great work. We'll be working through backlog of podcasts while I level, which is awesome.
That's great.
That is awesome.
That is awesome.
Yeah, there's a couple folks I've been meeting here recently, the past week or two, that are like, "Wow, this game is awesome! I don't know why I never picked it up before." Some of them are even new streamers, which I thought was really cool.
I think that's great.
Yeah, I've been meeting a lot of new people as well. It seems every time that there's an update, even, I expected Minas Tirith would kind of be one of the last big updates, but as far as, bringing in a ton of new players, but that's not the case. There's a ton of new players with this update, even though, there's obviously the Battle of Pelennor Fields, but beyond that, there's no real, new landscape, major thing that I would imagine pulling a lot of people in like Minas Tirith had. So it's just cool to see how, every update, regardless of size, seems to bring in a lot of new players.
There's life in the old girl yet.
Mm-hmm.
At
We
9
did not-
years old.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
We did not receive any emails this week, but if you'd like to send us one, you can send it to podcast@lotroplayers.com. You could also follow us to Twitter, the Players Alliance @PlayersAlly, Lotro Players @LotroPlayers, Andang @PVMP_Andang, Aerithert @Aerithert, Carvet @CarvetLP, Maven @TolkienMaven, Pineleaf @PineleafNews, and Terry Adwin @TerryAdwin. The Players Alliance has 4 live shows every Monday at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. We have DDO Players News. On the last Friday of each month, we have at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have Lotro Academy After School, and that will be coming up for this week. Every Saturday at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have Lotro Players News, and every other Saturday after Lotro Players News, we have Tales of the Free Folk. You can join us for our live shows at lotroplayers.com/live. Thank you, everyone, for listening. This is Pineleaf News reminding you to skirmish responsibly.